Австралийн Welcome.
Сайн байцгаана уу хүн үзэгчтэй. Өнөөдөр орой манай Defacto нэвтрүүлгийн зочноор Гүрж улсын сангийн сайд байсан. Ноён Aleksi Aleksishvili оролцож байна. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Welcome to Mongolia.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
You have been already working with Mongolians, and you are talking about the reform, the wonderful reform we see from here. And you were one of the initiator and former Minister of Finance. And please tell us what was the major what was the major concept of the reform you made?
Thank you very much again to having me here. And first of all, the main idea of Georgian reforms was really very simple, actually. The idea was to make life for our citizens, for citizens of Georgia and for business community of Georgia as easy as possible and as simple as possible, so that they can find a way of their development and their prosperity themselves, so that they have equal opportunities to develop themselves. And I mean, considering the situation when that happened, when this took place, that was 2004, when new government came into power, and there was a serious window of opportunity in terms of expectations from the society, in terms of the willingness from the society to change. And also considering the situation that before that all the environment was really very much corrupted and mismanaged and disorganized. In this case, of course, this new wave of changes was really very big contributor to successful reforms in Georgia.
What is the economic background of this whole reform you made? So which theory you would follow, rather?
That's actually the matter of liberalization of the overall economy. Because Georgia is since the country itself had the Soviet heritage, so-called. I mean, the heritage, the really very almost the same type of path as Mongolia and other former Soviet.
How many population was that time?
Yeah, population of Georgia is 4.4 million.
Even today?
Yeah, even today, because it's slightly.
And territory-wise, size?
Territory is 70,000 square kilometers.
Only?
Yes, which is really very small
compared
to Mongolia.
20 times probably smaller.
Yes. Yeah.
And who are your neighbors?
Neighbors are Russia on the north, Azerbaijan on the east, and Armenia and Turkey on the south, and Black Sea on the west.
So you are blessed with a border, access to ocean?
Yes. We have access to sea. We have really good to seaports and railway crossing the whole Georgia and connecting east and west, and that's the main asset of Georgian economy, previously even now.
Obviously 2004 President Saakashvili came, right,
Yes.
to the power, and previously it was Shevardnadze.
Yes.
And as you said, you need radical changes, otherwise that's what the people will expect. And I was told that you made this radical change very radically. And how you stopped the corruption, how you had so much quickly were able to change the whole structure.
Yeah, let me tell you. I mean, the start with the description what we had previously during this situation, because since everything was corrupted, everything was corrupted completely. I mean, not only the state agencies, state institutions, but overall all the institutions, educational institutions or scientific institutions, everything was really very much corrupted. And sometimes that was so desperate that society was thinking that this is not avoidable. This is not the corruption is the part of our culture, or kind of genetic part of our culture sometimes. And and after the revolution, and with the really very strong leadership of Saakashvili and that time leaders of Rose Revolution, Zurab Shwanian, Burjanadze, other
you were part of
people,
this as well.
Other people of the political team. They had really very unique, from my point of view, window of opportunity, political credit from the society to change the situation really very dramatically. And in real terms, this change means that there are several main ideas. One is that we need to fight not against the corruption action only, but the matter of corruption, which is sometimes really very simple. Looking at a huge burden of absolutely meaningless papers, licenses, permits, registration procedures, and all of this absolutely meaningless bureaucratic chain that we have sometimes in this in the government, in different agencies, in different government institutions, then we don't need to just sort of fight with the people there who are just corrupted, but also just abolish this kind of whole chain, and in this case, elimination of these licenses, elimination of these permits, elimination of these registrations, the bureaucratic institutions, and reduction of bureaucracy itself creates a lot of contribution to economic development. And
do you have particular statistics to demonstrate?
Definitely. Actually, that was again. I mean, the overall reform was complex. That was not just only one sector or another sector or civil service reform, or that was that covered everything almost: taxes, customs, civil service reform, privatization, education, all these.
So
sectors.
you did all the same time.
Yeah, and that was happened during the first 2-3 years mostly. And looking at 2-3 years and the economic development statistics in this case, we have really very significant improvements in almost all areas of economy. Foreign direct investments, for example, just as an example, from 2003 to 2007, increased by 10 times. And almost 10 times, because in 2003 that was 200 million US dollars, while in 2007 that was 2.2 billion. And budget revenues from 13% of budget revenues, GDP to tax to GDP ratio, 13%, has been increased to 15% in 2007, and some other different indicators.
It means that the government became relative to economy smaller.
Actually, what happened is that we reduced the number of taxes really very dramatically,
yes.
And we reduced tax rates really very dramatically, and of
From
course,
which percent? General income tax. Now, for example, company profit income tax.
Let me tell you. For example, we had 22 different type of taxes.
Ooh, okay.
22, and we reduced this number of taxes to 7 first, and then to 6. So now we have one of the simplest tax system.
Which taxes now you have?
Right now we have corporate income tax, personal income tax, VAT, excise tax for different goods, property tax, and customs duties. So tax on import operations.
What do you mean property tax? How do you tax that?
Property we have for movable and immovable goods. For movable goods, this is also differentiated for agricultural land and for non-agricultural land plots, and then the houses. So this is also kind of, this is local tax, considered as a local tax, and so local tax has a different margins on that to use that.
Welcome.
And you centralize in not collecting them back. Locals get that tax.
No. Overall tax system is centralized. We have only one central tax. Right now we have a so-called State Revenue Service, which is under the Ministry of Finance. And they are responsible for collection of all taxes, whatever is there. Because there should be one particular agency responsible for tax collection. And none of them can have any intervention with business community to have additional burden on that.
Back to the reform, let's talk about your internal power, the police.
Yes.
What do you have done with the police?
Yes, police. That's really very kind of one of the most famous, sometimes really very famous kind of reform part of Georgian reforms. What happened is that the police itself was really very much corrupted. Particularly, that was the traffic police, which was absolutely, I mean, dramatically corrupted. I mean, they were just standing on the streets. They were doing nothing but taking bribes all the time and so on. So that was disaster in this regard. And starting from early 2004, there were a lot of efforts, to change this. I mean, some reorganization, kind of a simplification, splitting some agencies, merging these agencies, but nothing happened at the end because everything was so much damaged that that was not easy to finally reach final results to avoid this, to eliminate the corruption. And in July, that was June or July, when 2004, when President decided that there is no other way, we need to abolish traffic police within one day. And that was just one short decision, so-called, saying that, okay, from tomorrow we don't have traffic police in the streets, so we don't need traffic police at all. And even this really very radical, hard decision was taken by society positively because that was really very serious burden on society.
So you said one day, tomorrow no traffic police.
No traffic police, and nothing happened.
So what was the reaction? What was it?
But nothing happened at the end. Yes, nothing happened at the end. Yes.
Okay.
Because
how many policemen altogether?
There were approximately 15,000.
15,000 policemen, traffic policemen.
Yes.
And
you do in
whole country.
Whole country. Yeah.
Traffic police. And then you said tomorrow everybody's what you have done with the people? Have they complained?
Of course, but again, I mean, considering the situation that there was the society's expectation that we need to change. Of course, I mean that during next 2 months, July, August, there was no traffic police. Okay. Of course, there was a police. I mean, criminal police and other units of the police and Ministry of Internal Affairs. Yes. They were operational. They continued working there, but particularly traffic police was abolished, and there was no there. But what happened that in September 2004, after 2-3 months, completely new institutional unit in the Ministry of Internal Affairs in the police was created. This is Patrol Office, which is the absolutely newly equipped, absolutely new people, without any kind of...
any country's model on that? On this new absolutely
I think that there are a lot of countries having patrol police instead of traffic police. In this case, that is, as far as I know, for example, I'm not an expert in that, but for example, in this case, US has exactly the same model.
There's no police standing or regulating all, but only the police comes when you are violating the rules.
Yes.
And in that case, you just said interestingly, technology-wise, you have completely new one. And I was told that now, in Georgia, if you forgot or if you don't have your driving license,
Yes.
they know who you are, what car is this.
Yeah, definitely. because
Every
all-
policeman knows.
Yes.
How?
They are equipped with special equipment,
Okay.
which means that if
Not
if
heavy, they carry.
No, in the cars, and then
Okay.
they have this equipment. Even they stop
You?
your car and vehicle, and you don't have a driver's license, they can enter your
Data.
data, name and surname,
And
so
they know
on.
who
And
you are.
they just identify based on their photo, which is already registered in
Yes.
the database. So they have the
So is
direct
it-
connection with
As
the
a
database.
driver, as a driver, then if you need, you deserve, say, a penalty
Yes,
for, as you say, violated the traffic rule.
yes.
How they do it?
They are really very strong.
Yeah,
They are-
but then how they procedurize it? I mean, nowadays, say I'm a policeman, I
Yes.
stop you and you violate the rule, and how I'll take your money? I'm giving you a penalty.
No. You're in this case. There is a special paper which is filled, and one copy is left to the policeman. One copy is given to the violator, and then violator goes to the bank or somewhere and pays. And
If he doesn't pay,
no, in this case, these rules are really very much hard because in this case,
he will have
several
problem.
violations will cause serious.
So if you're drunk driving, what will happen? How many months?
If you drunk, the first violation is somewhere, as far as I remember, approximately $100 or something, and the second violation is 6 months license or the cancellation or something.
Wow. Okay. So you have a now brand new patrol policy for traffic movement.
Yeah.
What happened with the policemen? Police. How you have reformed that?
Yes.
Is it because they were also part of that absolute corruption?
Yeah, they were part of it, and everything was part of it. But regarding the particular with the police, as I mentioned, there were absolutely new people came into the system. And
What you paid, by the way, to those who the traffic police?
Yeah.
Many people gone. So what you paid? Compensation you gave?
the salaries have been increased really very dramatically. I mean,
No, but those who had left, how you have said goodbye to them because they would ask some law, some money.
Yes, there were the different approaches. Actually, with the traffic police, since the overall system has been abolished, then there was no specific
Complaint.
complaint and
system is
compensation because
demolished.
system itself was demolished, and that was kind of
I see. With the
dismissed.
police,
Yeah.
with the criminal police.
With the
or-
criminal police, there were different approaches. One was that the overall testing procedures to improve the quality of their knowledge and behavior and all of this stuff. And at the same time, there was a training process all the time. There was created new police academy, which was also one of the main generator of new staff members, and then that was kind of the even now this is like endless process because you never reach final best quality because you need to improve the quality in state institutions.
But
same the case.
how you, if absolute corruption of police, you put many guys to prison?
Yes, that was the case. Not only from police, but in particular from fiscal institutions like customs, tax, because they from my point of view, as I mentioned, traffic police, but customs department was not the better. I mean, that was even worse, I think, because that was the most corrupted institution in Georgia. And changing customs is not as simple as traffic police, because you cannot abolish customs in one day, right? You need to keep that because you need revenues.
And then obviously, as you talk, obviously you are catching certain groups, certain leaders of the whole. It is not, single action, right? This whole things. There are certain groups and certain division of labor of this mafia, etc. What was the most difficult case?
Regarding customs, for example, we had we tried several options. I mean, tried several efforts, so-called. I mean, several tries to improve the situation. One of them was that we invited new people, for example, and tried to train them together with the old officers. And what we received at the end, in 2 weeks, we received exactly the same type of corrupted people as we had previously.
Okay.
So the only solution then, later on, we decided that the only solution is to create at least one oasis, one particular checkpoint, somewhere mid-size, even large-size checkpoint for the customs checkpoint, and replace 100% of people there. And so we replaced 100%, trained these new people there, and then step by step distributed them to other checkpoints. So particularly
you have a, we call it port, exit.
Yes.
And you gate, and you change it completely, this one, and test it, and that is...
That was then distributed to other people, because there was no way to replace in one day all of them.
Was it a principal difference after changes?
Definitely, because
people were happy.
Based on the customs procedures, and we passed really very tough procedures.
You have to pay more then.
Of course, definitely. We increased salaries. We increased the working conditions. We improved facilities. We improved equipment. We improved
all this money. You very short period. You were Minister of Planning that time.
From the starting point, I was the Minister of Economic Development.
So you had to find the money, hold money.
And then Minister of Finance.
Yes.
As a Minister of Finance, I was in charge of dealing with customs, tax, budget, financial police, and that was the
You borrowed a lot of money, or what?
No, we did not, because even more, we tried to rely on two main kind of components of this reform, I mean, regarding the finances. One was the dramatic increase of budget revenues because of reduction of corruption, because of reduction of bureaucracy, because of improvement of procedures.
Wow, the procedures and this making easier makes more revenue.
Definitely.
Of taxes to the budget.
Definitely. Okay. That has been increased, as I mentioned, from
because
approximately
before the people were taking it to their pocket.
Yes.
They stop it, and then now all goes to the government.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, that's even regarding to GDP, that's almost doubled. I mean, percentage rate. But regarding absolute numbers, that's I don't know, even 5 times more than that was before.
Welcome. If there was a case when I was somehow heard or read somewhere that you got criminal, which somehow managed to keep a lot of money, property, but you know that this work was done illegally.
Yes.
And instead of immediately putting him into the prison, he can buy out, no? It was the case or not?
Yes, that's a matter of criminal code that was adopted at that time by Georgia. That's a story as well. But the most important one is that previously these people were not punished at all, and the most important issue was that there was a willingness from the government to punish these people, and that created absolutely new environment in terms of having better business environment, having low corruption and then eliminate corruption, and improve the services that the government provides to their citizens.
And if they were buying out or bail out or not?
Yeah, in some cases they can bail out.
Some very mafia had a lot of money illegally obtained.
Yeah,
they were, instead of punishment, were giving money.
Yeah, that was one of the form of punishment.
Yeah, and this money also went to the state budget.
Yeah, of course.
And you used that money for particular purpose?
Definitely. I mean, that was not particular purpose for what overall budget needs. That was used for increasing of salaries of budget servants. That was in purpose of increase of social spendings and some other
in a way, you have redistributed only in a more just way after.
Yeah, sure.
The money
definitely
gained for this guy. You were Minister of Finance, and you said just revenue increased. How is the economy was doing? Business activity.
Yes.
And what makes now your country's economies moving?
Yeah. Yeah, just to Georgia, got a real significant international recognition in terms of reforms.
Yes.
And looking at, for example, World Bank's data or doing business indicators and doing business indexes or other indexes like economic freedom index and some other indexes. This is really very much it's a huge improvement. But that's just indicators again. I mean, this is not the goal. This is just tool for self-assessment and comparing to others. So, but regarding the economic development itself, we can rely on particular numbers, right? So looking at particular numbers during first 5 years almost, from 2003 to 2007, we had dramatic increase of gross domestic product, and that was average growth rate was approximately 10%, even a little slightly more, and we have to consider that that was without any natural resources, because Georgia has no natural resources.
Wow.
I mean, we have no natural resources. I mean, all this growth was coming from increase of FDI and increase of productivity, which was the main contributor to growth.
Productivity and FDI. FDI comes to which sectors and services?
Yeah, FDI, as I mentioned, from 2003 to 2007, during these 4 or 5 years, increased by 10 times almost. And the most important part is that these FDIs, they were not from only one country or not driven only from political purposes. I mean, that was not just only for big infrastructure projects. Of course. That was really very much diversified from different countries. That was really very much diversified for different sectors of the economy and for different size of the economy. That was for small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and large businesses as well. So, and the interesting point is that if you look at countries, I mean, we have foreign direct investments coming from Central Asia, Kazakhstan mostly, coming from Gulf countries like Kuwait, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, coming from Europe,
Do you have
Czech
particular
Republic, Holland.
limiting sector of foreign direct investment?
No, actually we don't. If you look at the structure of these foreign direct investments, we have several of them. Yes.
How many mobile cell phone service provider? How many?
Right now there are 3.
3.
Yes.
And they are competing with each other price-wise.
Definitely.
And which made very affordable.
Yes, of course.
And people use now more cell phone than their amount?
Actually, yes. So, since this is the regulated sector, that's still, something which is regulated, right?
Safety,
this is just
personal data, etc.
But if you look at other sectors, FDIs in other sectors, in transport, in construction, in industry, or there were one particular sector that was not so much developed, but I think that this is it is coming up, which is agriculture, and due to from my point of view, objective reasons, because Georgia is still a small country.
You have a great tea and great wine.
Yes.
The tea is used a lot in Mongolia.
I know, yes, because popular. I met some people already.
Traditionally, yes.
Importing Georgian tea.
Yes, for years. No, for many years.
Even now there are some.
Yes, because we use it with our traditional tea.
Yes.
We add milk, we add a bit salt, nice. Particularly when your mother does it, I was thought very interestingly, so I was waiting for that to ask you. Is it true that because the procedures you have described made, then now it's easier to buy cars through your country, registering, etc.?
Definitely.
Yeah, please tell us about that part. So that you are suddenly sitting, because your efficiency of service, you are re-exporting now.
Yes.
What happened?
So what happened is that we dramatically improved the operations at customs and car registration procedures. And car import clearance is really very simple. You may register imported car in 10 minutes.
Okay.
and which is really very
How you
easy.
pay tax then?
Well, you go, you register and pay,
and
if
get
it-
everything.
yeah,
Yes.
yes.
So within 10 minutes,
yes,
car
you
is
made a-
cleared out.
Yes, yes.
And you drive.
Yes, and
Wow.
and because of that, and because of the specific regimes for imported and re-exported car regimes, Georgia became the type of hub for the region.
Yeah.
Because most companies, I mean, they are just importing cars to Georgia. They are holding these cars in Georgia, and then they are selling that to the direction where they want to where they want to resell. For example, if this is Armenia, they are sending that to Armenia, or Armenian clients are coming to Georgia to buy that, and so on.
So when I take a car from one country, bring to Georgia,
yes,
then I get registered very fast on my name.
yeah, and you
And
drive
I can
that
sell
to-
on that side, or somebody,
Yes.
if they want to buy it immediately, the same procedure they
Yes.
can take away.
exactly,
Wow.
which makes much
So
simpler,
that's a
which is-
good example of streamlining state service.
Yes.
And et cetera, in all
Yes.
sectors.
The same we can say with the construction permits, or same we can say with the paying taxes and so
Do
on,
you
registering
have
businesses.
more people working in public sector before you start the game and after? Now today, I would say.
No, compared to those numbers that we had in 2004, the numbers that we had, that's almost 30% reduced bureaucracy. But
Wow.
bureaucracy reduction was not just reduce bureaucracy technically and mechanically, but the most important part was that functionally that has been reduced. The functions of the bureaucracy,
Yes.
for example, issuing some kind of paper or issuing some kind of
So
license
all this
or
almost
permit.
electronic now.
Yeah, first of all, these licenses and permits were abolished. I mean, that was the main idea. And since there is no paper that should be issued, then there is no need for the person who has to be there, right?
And to meet in person.
Yes, and the second one is that, of course, I mean, if you need to get, for example, construction permit for
Yes.
construction in Tbilisi, you may just online do this. Even from here, if you have a land plot there and you want to get
You will get
construction, you will get it, yeah, online.
But I'm say in the city, Tbilisi, and I want to make on my spot land. I want to do 100 floor building. Can I?
No. If this is 100 floor building and this is not allowed, you cannot. But,
So
you have all these particular standards already given, and you may see that online, so that whatever is given and whatever is allowed,
So you have
may
certain
construct it.
city planning that
Definitely.
allow you to make certain things.
Yes.
Yes or no.
Yes.
Right. Ah, well, okay.
Which is much simpler than go and bargain, because previously there was a matter of go and bargain and
Pay
and
bribe
pay
and-
bribe and so on and so on.
Now that's what is a prosperous business in this country. This is a land. That's what we want to change. And hopefully we got now new mayor, and we expect a lot from him to change. In particular, this part, land full corruption. And by the way, because the land is corrupt, the building they are making on corrupt land is expensive. Corrupt money is inside the cost.
Yeah.
So the people buy and people pay for the corruption.
Yeah,
So it should not be
Yes.
in Mongolia, for example.
definitely.
How do you find so far your visit and you have been meeting Mongolian bureaucrats?
Yes, I met several government officials as well as some business community leaders, and I think that all of them who I met, they understand all these points that we are talking about, and they know not only Georgian path of reforms, but they know other countries as well, like Estonia. How did Estonia, which almost the same kind of path with liberalization, deregulation, and all of this stuff. And I think that there is really type of window of opportunity in terms of expectations from the society, that they want to see changes, and there is real need for that. On the other hand, I think that there is the need for accelerate the process itself, to speed up the process, because that's really very important, because in most cases this window of opportunity is not really very large, and it's getting narrow and narrow time.
That's why the very fact that we have a chance you speaking gives us ordinary people the hope that we will have the same changes. Maybe they will not do that dramatic, but however, recently they are making all public officers coming at 8 o'clock, not at 9 o'clock, for example, due to traffic issue. Question for you. Today, still President Saakashvili is there.
Yeah.
Still reform keeps going on. It's probably not that much easy. Keeps on, but however, economy is better. And what is your next election, and how does Mr. Saakashvili look like on that?
It's first of all, it's really very difficult to say. Right now we have parliamentary elections in October, and we have then presidential election next year, but Mr. Saakashvili cannot run for presidential.
Time.
Yeah,
he was already
he already.
In the parliament election, how does his party look?
They look quite strong.
Quite strong.
Yes, they look quite strong. Although I think that opposition party, which mostly sometimes which mostly has the same approach and same philosophical, ideological approach towards the economic reform.
Nobody wants to go back.
Nobody wants to go back. So in this case, of course, whoever wins, the process will continue. And the most important issue, what I see, of course, I don't want to kind of create some kind of illusion that Georgia is like paradise now, and there are no problems and people are just happy and so on.
Sure,
no,
certainly. Yeah.
There are a lot of challenges still. There are a lot of problems, which and there will be a lot of problems in the future as well. But those problems that we had in I don't know 8 or 7 years ago, we don't have these problems, and we have absolutely new type of challenges regarding social sector, regarding education, regarding health sector, how to get the health sector accessible and high quality, and education, high quality education, so on and so on. So absolutely new type of challenges, new type of approaches. What we already reached and somehow achieved is that there is no corruption on the low level of bureaucracy. There is regarding the taxes and fiscal, this is absolutely clear. Procedures are simple, easy, and transparent, and it means that there is the willingness to continue with this manner.
So you have done the major battle. You have done with the corruption, and now the new party is coming, probably proposing a different ways of solving the new problems, probably. Which is the normal part of the democracy, no?
Probably. Yes, I hope so.
And sorry, but my audience is interested to know more the relation with Russia. How is it going on after the war?
It's tough, of course, due to both circumstances, so-called. One is that there is no dialogue between two governments on one hand, and there is no economic relations on the other hand. So considering those two issues, I think that it's really very.
Will the situation be different after Saakashvili is changed, President Saakashvili is changed, another person will be a president? By that time, do you hope that, or do you think, or do you believe that they will have different relations with the president?
Yeah, actually, I think so. Okay. From my point of view, yes. But I don't hope that will be really very dramatic and really very fast. But I think that will take some time because there are a lot of stuff. There are particular points that they have to kind of find, because they cannot just jump, and they cannot do anything really very fast from my point of view.
And there is no trade relations?
There is type of relations in energy.
I see.
Because during summer time we are exporting electricity to Russia. And that's it.
That's it.
This
This is some
just
system that
yes,
it can
systematic
go
kind of
automatically
approach.
here
Yes,
and there.
Yes, but not other.
No flight?
There are flights. There are flights. They started flights in 2002, 1 year ago.
Which is good. Which is good.
Yeah, which
How
is
about the
a-
relations with Armenia?
No, with all other neighbors we have brilliant, really very good relations. Yeah.
Okay, because I used to study in Russia,
Oh, okay.
and it was again best. I had a lot of friends from Georgia, Armenia. Usually they were more, more gentleman way, more broader way coming, and this was the impression, and probably partly also because the culture you have described at the beginning. Also, probably it was more wealthier families, children, or that. Anyway, I have a great impression about your country, and I'm looking for any chance to visit.
Always welcome.
So my final question about you, family.
Yes, I have a wife and 2 children.
Daughter,
15,
boy.
Boy is 16 years old and daughter is 13 years old.
Are they in Tbilisi?
Yeah, they are. They're in Tbilisi.
Tbilisi.
We are based. Family is based in Tbilisi.
You are consulting a company, right?
Right now, I am dealing with a consulting company, mostly delivering policy advisory services to different
To other
public
countries as
agencies, other countries as well, other international organizations. So, and that's a major activity for us, as well as we are just delivering financial advisory services for international investors who are coming to Georgia and Caucasus, and they want to invest in the region.
My last question: 2 years. I mean, your country, say after 10 years, 22. How do you see? What will be the economy look like?
I think I'm very much optimistic in the development and prosperity of my country, and I think that by that time we would have we will solve those institutional problems that we have right now, particularly related to judiciary, development of democratic institutions, and overall environment of political environment, as well as I think that that time we will reach sustainable but high growth rate of the economy, because I think that Georgia definitely has several good competitive advantages, and one of them is the geographic location,
Yes.
and people, which is really very much
Open-minded,
and educated and
Great hospitality as well.
Development-minded, yeah.
Well, that's really we want to see, and I personally believe that a free person, a free society, and to choose free makes way more difference, not only in his own life, but in the whole society, in the community. I think in that regard your country did wonderful, and I congratulate you.
Thank you very much.
And wish all the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thanks.